Shut up and sit down.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get real cold up in here right now. Check this out.
Nice day to get on our bicycles, take a ride down to the park, pedaling up and down the hills, birds sing and dogs they bark.
It is a stretch, but so far what you are hearing is the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von During. Have you heard that perseverance is the hard work you do after you get tired of doing the hard work you already did?
Clouds flow by, and when we come back down, we roll so fast.
Okay, what the
Grass, wondering how many hours have passed.
What the bloody hell was that?
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I am Jake Von During. I'm here with Lance friggin' Hepler.
Lance Hepler.
Lance frickin' Hepler.
Lance friggin' Hepler.
What's up, friggin'?
Good morning, gentlemen.
What's up, friggin'?
What's up? I'm well. How are you guys?
Good. To his left, Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys look frickin' tastic.
Yeah, we know.
You know, you look like
flatulent for a second.
I know, right? It was right there. Did you get a haircut?
Yeah, I did get a haircut.
I'm due.
at
I'm
some
overdue
point.
for something.
Yeah.
Some
And a
some
beard
beard trim. I need. Yeah,
I did that this morning.
yeah. I need.
I need to look good for you.
Thank you.
Matt.
Thank you. There's a lot of judgment.
There's judgment at
When
this
I look
table.
around and I'm like, how are they really looking today? Fan-frickin-tastic.
Fantastic.
And no Evan Price today. It is a Thursday that we were recording this on. It'll probably come out the same day, too.
He and I are trading off because we don't like each other anymore. I don't want to be around him.
You guys got beef?
We got beef.
Lance, you gotta
there's
take somebody
quiet beef.
Gotta take somebody vegetarian so there's no more beef.
Yep.
Right.
Or vegan, vegetarian, whatever.
I don't know.
Whatever
I don't
it
even know
is.
what Evan and I are angry at each other about.
Just
It's been so long.
Just can't
It's
be
been
in the
so
same
long.
room together.
We
for
can't
what?
stand each other.
You've forgotten what the
Yep.
what the beef was about.
Guys, it's the last podcast of 2022.
Yes, it is.
Another year. We've been doing this for a long time.
Dude, yeah, we're coming up on our 5th year anniversary.
Something
That's
crazy.
bonkers. But that means it's the last time that we get to backpedal for 2022.
Oh,
Lance, you want to start us off?
I'll start.
This could be like highly exhilarating stuff. I know. I mean, it's just going to be like on the seat, edge of your seat, just so much drama.
I rode the trainer every
you
single
really?
day.
No outdoors.
Not a single outdoor ride. Not one. It's stupid.
Outside's overrated.
Stupid. I initially, I finished the Festive 500 this morning.
I was watching your Strava and it was like
No, if you do
70,
it on-
80 miles on the trainer. And I'm like, ooh, brutal.
If you're doing it on the trainer, it's got to be the Festive 800. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, I still got a few days left. It's the 29th. I have
to do it.
Keep
I have
going.
3 more days to go. I did do a century like 2
Did
days
you
ago.
really?
I did.
Oh,
I-
5 or 6 hours? No, because you were
Four.
you
I
were
was
on,
on the trainer.
Well, you were
So
also
it was like
on
3 hours and 57 minutes.
What was like what's the route that's the fastest?
Tempest
Fuego,
Fugit or something like
Tempest
that.
Fugit. Yeah,
I
that's what-
didn't do Tempest Fugit because the pacer on
You were like
Tempest Fugit,
wherever the pacer is.
the pacer is a little too hard for me.
The C?
He's a B pacer.
Oh.
And it's like
C is perfect for you.
it's like a 2 point. It's like a 2.9 or a 3.0 pacer, and it's just if I'm focused on it, I can stay with
But
it.
not for 100 miles.
But for 100 miles, I'm doing other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm watching something.
So what
else.
route did you do? Was it the TikTok?
I did the TikTok, and that pacer is like 2.6 watts per
Okay.
kilogram. And because when there's
I also watch TikTok.
and when there's like more than 100 people with him, you move at like 25 or 26 miles an hour average. It's dumb. I mean, it's dumb how
Hence
fast you go.
finishing the century in 3 hours and 50 some odd minutes.
Yeah, I think I did 103 miles in like 4 hours and 2 minutes.
Do you remember
or
what
something.
wattage was like similar?
Yeah,
or something in that?
I was pushing like 190 watts
Okay.
average.
That's actually
That's
pretty
really
good.
that's
4
pretty good for a
hours.
long time.
Yeah. And I wasn't planning on doing it either. It was
You were just looked up and you were
Okay.
like, I'm at 70 miles.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like I'm going to do 2 hours. I'm going to stay with this group because you literally go 4 miles an hour faster if you're with a group of 100 with those pacer bots than if you're by yourself.
And you were right in the middle of a really good episode of The Kardashians. I don't really know what the name of the show is. Killing the Kardashians.
Killing the
Oh, I
Kardashians.
wish.
What's it really called?
I've never seen that
Something
show.
like
Keeping up with the
Okay,
Kardashians.
thank you.
I'm sorry that I know that.
How many of them
Well,
have you
it's-
watched though? That's
I've watched 0.
you've never watched it.
No, I've watched clips of it and like this is disgusting. I can't. I feel dirty watching it.
Yeah.
So it was on, and you watched it for a few minutes and went off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've never watched it.
Neither have I.
I feel like that's kind of important in like modern day culture. I feel like I should watch it just because like to know what's going on. The whole like original thing of that was like, why are they famous?
Sex
Just-
tape.
It's sex tape and Bruce Jenner.
Bruce Jenner.
Yeah. And
Well,
OJ,
O.J.
and
Simpson.
O.J.
Yep.
Simpson's lawyer.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know.
Robert Kardashian?
Yeah, Robert Kardashian was one of O.J. Simpson's lawyers. And
That's just
then-
not like a good reason to be famous.
No, but yeah, they just like
Good on
cashed
you,
in.
man.
Fun fact.
Cash in on that. I mean,
Robert Kardashian's parents were friends with my grandparents.
What?
oh,
I don't know. They all like were in the Newport, California area at some point in time. I never met any of them, but I can remember talking to them about some of that stuff back in the day when that whole OJ thing went, crazy.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there's so and so's son, Robert. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, who cares?
yeah,
Anyway,
exactly. Sorry.
that was a sidetrack right there.
that's as side as it goes, right?
All right. We got from your 100-miler to Kardashians, like bam.
Boom. Yeah, so like I was only planning on doing like 60 miles. I'm like, I'm just gonna do 100K.
Sure.
But I was watching these frigging awesome cyclocross races, and I was watching them like start to finish.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
okay.
So I would watch because GCN was covering several of them, GCN Plus, and Flow Sports was doing some. But
You watched 3 of them. You watched like 3.
it was like every day. Well, I would watch
yeah.
the whole women's race.
Uh-huh.
And, the coverage is like an hour and 20 minutes long. And then I'd watch the whole men's race, and the coverage is like an hour and 30 minutes long. And so,
Yeah.
I look up and I'm like, oh, I'm at 70 miles. Let's just go to 3 hours. And then I get to 3 hours, and then I'm into watching something else, and I'm like, let's just go to 3:30. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm too close to 100. I just got to finish the stupid 100-mile ride.
That's cool. That's pretty impressive.
It was too much. But on
Whatever. It
on
doesn't
Swift,
matter.
it doesn't really count. I mean, I averaged like 25.6 miles an hour. I
Still
could never
good
do that.
volume. It doesn't just it's the
It
hours,
was.
it's the time that pays big dividends.
Did your ass hurt after all that?
No, I'm
too bad.
actually, yeah, it's okay.
You're used to it? Your ass has taken quite a beating over the years?
My ass has taken quite a beating.
Keeping up with the Kardashians over there?
That's right.
Was it Brazilian butt lift?
You threw me there, Matt. I'm
I'm surprised I can throw you after
this
5
long.
years of podcasting.
Threw me. I have been using chamois cream because I've been riding so much
Yeah.
on the trainer for so long, and I
should do
don't
that.
usually
Getting a little sweaty down there, Lance?
You don't usually use chamois cream.
I feel like I should do the same thing because I'm like riding the
using
trainer for like 1 hour and I'm like, oh, I'm not,
Something's
I don't
up.
have the endurance. When your bike is moving more, like it just feels a little bit better.
And you get up out of the
Get
saddle,
up the saddle more. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Something about the trainer. It's not,
The trainer,
not that
you're
pleasant,
just like revving it.
especially for 4 hours.
I know it was too much. Anyway, I never rode outside once. Plus we had terrible weather here. We were iced in,
Yeah.
and we lost power for a while.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was all a little messy, but that was another reason why I just kind of stayed inside. So that was way too long for freaking a week long of trainer rides. But I'm done with the Festive 500.
That a boy.
I'll still do.
It would have been hard to bike out there. I actually saw one of our neighbors out there biking on a mountain bike with like a dog also. And I was like, ooh, you're going to hurt yourself really bad. And he didn't. He came back and I was like, did you fall? And he was like, just once. But I was fine. I was able to hold, pull it together. And I was like, phew, I would have broken a hip.
I actually have a set of
man.
studded tires.
Do you?
Mounted on a set of wheels.
Really?
I do.
Was it for a rim brake biker?
It's for my old gravel bike, which
Okay.
is still busted.
Oh, geez.
It's still the shifter doesn't work, so
I think I'd want to be on a mountain bike. I think I'd want studded mountain bike because I feel like what are you going to do? You're going to have like a road bike and go fast? No, who cares? You might as well just be on a mountain bike.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
I don't know. What do I know? I'm not going out there.
Hey, Matt, why don't you backpedal?
Okay. I Zwifted once or twice and it was fine. Not 100 miles, but did some workouts. It was good. And I've been swimming a lot and I've been running, but this is what I told my wife. I was like, the past couple runs have sucked. Like for like 3 weeks, I was running and feeling really good.
You were feeling pretty good.
I was feeling good, and I had like my weekly mileage built up to like 20 miles, which is not. I mean, like let's call it a spade. 20 miles is not a lot of mileage.
You did 100-mile weeks for like
100
4 years.
120-mile weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And so a 20-mile week for me to be like, I'm so proud of myself for doing 20 miles this week. Is a little weird, but
we temper our expectations,
and they are tempered as they can be. And then this past week, I've just been running. Maybe it's partially because I took a little bit of a break when it was like the ice storm, but yeah, getting back out there, I'm like, oh, everything sucks.
Yeah,
but I'm swimming fine, so whatever.
You can still make it to the pool.
I can. When it was icy, I was the only thing that I could really do was ride Zwift, because it's just like, what else do you do?
Well, we couldn't get up and down our driveway.
Yeah, our street was shut down, but it was also Christmas, and there was just like family home, lots to do.
Yes.
So sneaking out for an hour bike ride, or even like a 30-minute Zwift, was like just fine. That was great.
Yeah,
because there's just, I mean. Otherwise, and we also went sledding for like an entire day, which is kind of exercising.
Where'd you go sledding at?
Driveway.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I mean, it was pure ice. I could sled from my house to David Goodman's house easily. Wow. It was it was like an ice rink. If I had skates, we would have been ice skating out there. It was perfect.
There were people that live around the corner from us that are friends of my wife, and there were the boys play hockey.
Yeah.
They were out skating in the street.
They were skating in the street.
Yeah.
I mean, it was perfect for skating.
For people that don't know, we're here in the Northwest, and I've
never seen anything like that.
No, we had an ice storm where we had freezing rain for like a day and a half, almost 2 days.
It's like an inch of ice.
It laid down somewhere between a quarter inch and an inch of ice on everything. And so basically the city shut down.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't leave our house. I mean, it got a little crazy. I mean, it's odd to have ice like that, but it was a weird weather system where
I've never seen it. It was very
that
weird.
much ice.
It was like dropping like 30 degrees in one day.
Yeah.
That Thursday before, it was
It's
so
like
cold.
19 degrees with a real feel of like -5 or something like that. We
I
just
went
don't
running.
get that here often.
I went running that day, and it was -1 wind chill because it was so windy, and it sucked. Again, this is like the beginning of all the sucky running, but whatever. I mean, it's good that we got through it, and I'm sure you Zwifted some. What was your back pedal?
My back pedal last week sucked.
Did you do anything?
Sucked.
Everyone's stuck in the ice.
Dude, I rode an hour and 40 minutes last week.
Oh no,
that's brutal.
Yeah.
That's terrible. I almost just gave up my cycling card and just said, all right, you guys can have it back.
Who do you give that back to?
I don't know.
The cycling gods.
The cycling gods. But yeah, last week was rough.
Well, let's
I
just
did 15.
Huh?
I did 15 hours.
15 hours.
That's stupider.
That's awesome.
That's my word for the day.
You know
stupider.
What's great is we can just close up old 2022.
Yeah.
Start looking up ahead.
Being the idiot that I am, I've been dealing with injuries and nagging things and lots of like little things. And I'm like, all right, end of the year's coming up. All of my medical benefits are going to roll over. I might as well try and use some of these benefits I have now. So in the last 3 weeks, I think I've had 8 or 9 medical appointments, and that's including dentists and acupuncture and going in and seeing orthopedic specialists and getting a colostomy. Not colostomy, colonoscopy.
You've been a professional patient.
Yeah.
I know.
Last 2 weeks.
I mean, my wife and I are looking at the same thing. We're just like, we've maxed out all of our, deductibles. Might as well just go.
Yeah.
Just this morning, I was at the freaking dentist forever and a day and tapped out the old HSA card. That thing is completely exhausted.
I know. But it's weird because I don't know when mine's, I need to look at my numbers and be like, is it really
Lance is
empty?
pulling out his AARP card.
That reminds me, I brought gifts.
Oh, okay.
Oh, look at this.
Good.
What?
I got pocket licorice. You guys got to try it.
Oh, no. I don't know if I can right now, Lance.
Actually, Jake, you can't try it.
No.
I want you to
really
try.
don't like licorice.
Oh, this will be great then. Go ahead, Matt.
D's out.
This is from Holland. It's from the Netherlands. And
Tastes like Hollish. Hollish licorice.
tastes like college.
Oh, I do not like licorice.
What is it? What are you experiencing there, Matt?
The taste of licorice, which I don't like. There's some salt to it, which I kind of like.
It's called double salt. If you've ever had licorice from Norway or from Holland, it sucks. You can go spit that out, Matt.
Play-by-play here. Matt just took off his headphones. He stood up. He's looking left, looking right, and he's making a run for the trash can right now.
Trash can. There's so
Trash
much.
can open, and it's gone.
There's so much salt in it. It hurts your salivary glands.
I think Matt might be punching Lance square in the jaw right
Here's
now.
the thing. I actually prefer the salt to the licorice taste because I don't like licorice.
Yeah. Well,
No, I think there's certain people. There's probably like 50% of the population likes licorice, doesn't like licorice.
I would have let Jake.
Firm line.
I would have fooled Jake too, but he has some temporary fillings in his mouth that would have come right out of his head if he'd have taken a
That's
bite
true.
into that.
I spent more time in the dentist chair this morning than I have on a bike in the last week and this week combined. Oh, isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You had
Moving on.
2 bad weeks, huh?
Well, I took my normal Monday off because I was gone. We were up visiting family and got back on Tuesday, and I proceeded to get back on the bike then, and I rode on Tuesday with the team, and then I rode again last night, and I'm going to try and ride again tonight. The issue with my hip, it turns out that I did have a muscle strain, tear, or whatever it is in my quad, and that changed my pedaling mechanics a little bit, and it caused some things to get aggravated in the old hip. Went in and saw the doctor, and it turns out I have a tear in the labrum in my hip.
Oh, you tore the labrum.
So it's not like terrible. It's not. I don't even think it's surgery worthy at this juncture. And I've probably been dealing with this for some time. I've had 3 hard falls on that same hip. One of them was a fractured hip that I had to actually have 3 titanium screws put into the femoral neck, and that was 9 years ago. Okay. And then another fall about a year prior to or earlier than that. And then I had another fall in 2021 in November, and that's where I think it may have actually occurred, because when they did the surgery back in 2013, there was no mention of any kind of labral issues or whatnot. But anyway, that's kind of what the thought is, and so. He wants me to take it easy for 6 weeks, and I'm saying in the back of my head, yeah, that's not going to work, but I'll do my best.
But you could
Wait, what does take it easy mean?
Well, he
like
wanted me
no
to
cycling.
Well, no, he said you can maintain the volume, because I cut my volume in half, and I'm like, I'm normally riding anywhere from 8 on a light week up to 12, 13, 14 hours on a heavy week.
pretty consistent, like at around 10.
Yeah, and that's my sweet spot right there. I want to hit 10, and he's like, well, I'd like to see you keep the intensity away, and you can stick to that.
You can ride with me.
3, 4,
There's
5 miles.
0 intensity. It'll be fun.
Go deke around. But anyway, so I'm going to do that, and I'm doing the acupuncture. I'm going to be seeing a massage therapist. I'm going to be doing some physical therapy, and I'm going to just try and hit this thing from every which way possible and see if I can get it to sort itself out so that I can train. I need to train, because if I don't train, then I lose focus and I just kind of get apathetic about everything.
Yep.
We've got training camp coming up. I started off 22 feeling pretty good, and we had a great training camp and everything was looking good, and then it just got like 3/4 of the way through the year and the wheels fell off, and just everything just kind of went to crap. So I need to shake that, and I need to get back after it, because I'll gain weight, I'll eat crappy, make poor choices, and it's just like if you're riding and you're staying focused, you've got something to kind of stay laser focused on, and that's going to help you get better gains. So, and not getting any younger, and I want to make sure that I'm doing all the healthy things.
So what do we have to do to keep the intensity down for you for the next 5 weeks?
Spin it out, man.
It's just going to be a lot of riding on the trainer, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And it's just going to have to be smart about stuff.
You think if you get on the road, it'll be over? Depends
I
on who
don't
you ride
know.
with.
I don't. It just depends. So I guess I can't ride with Lance.
No KOM stuff.
I'm not helpful in that.
And I know my body pretty well, and I know.
You and me ride together great.
Oh yeah.
We could totally have
Just
a lot
explore.
We just go explore and goof off. We can bring cameras. You could come, but
Okay.
you just sprint. Jake has to stay with me.
Maybe I need to get an e-bike, and maybe that'll be
That would be fun too.
I was thinking about that on the drive over. I was like, gosh, it would be so interesting to have like a gravel e-bike to just go explore.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
We've actually got one on order from Scott Bikes. Now that we're
really?
carrying Scott Bikes down here. We've got one that's
You're going to carry Scott bikes?
yeah.
These are the things we need to talk about on the podcast.
We just ordered 45 bikes from Scott, so they'll be coming
Wow.
to us over the next 3 to 6 months. So
I think they make good bikes.
yeah.
They have a
Their mountain bikes are drool worthy, man. They're good.
okay.
Yeah, pretty fun stuff. Anyway,
I think they have a decent TT bike.
Yep, the plasma.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
The
get.
newer plasma that
Yeah.
they have, I think, looked really interesting.
Yep. Anyway,
I wonder if it's legal. It's probably not legal for
Probably.
no time trial. It's really just a triathlon bike. Okay.
So, and again, it's just a bunch of stuff that I'm going to have to work myself through. And so I've kind of got a clear picture. I've got a plan. I can kind of see
That's
all right,
huge.
here's where we need to go. I just need to have that light at the end of the tunnel that I can start to see where I'm feeling better. And I'm hoping it's starting now because I did take off quite a bit of time during the month of December. This is the most paltry cycling year I've ever had. I had some other great things that happened this year and some other fun things that happened this year.
Family's good. There's so many things to be
cycling
thankful
started
for.
off good. I had, I did an okay amount of racing and had a bunch of second places, and it was a great year until it wasn't. And I just need to get back to that station. And some of that's my fault, so I need to do different things now.
Conveniently missed the Strava totals video
Yeah,
podcast.
you missed the whole thing.
Whoops.
Well, thanks for coming, Matt.
I was like, don't think my numbers are too impressive this year. Might conveniently miss that podcast. Yeah. I didn't even look. It was just
we all go through ebbs and flows.
for sure.
You go through ups and downs. If it was just a regular straight up trajectory, then we'd be all riding on the tour right now. That's not the way this works.
We're very close though.
we're right
So
there.
close. I would be a tour rider if it wasn't for the couple of bumps in the road. You can tell.
All right, let's do
Oh, some good stuff to talk about.
Champ. You here?
Champ is here. It is all cyclocross all week long.
And as a tri-dork, it's not. I'm not even upset. It's just there's such good cyclocross racing going on.
So good.
So this is the usual Christmas period of cyclocross, where if you're in the Belgium, Netherlands area, there's 10 races in 16 days.
Wow.
So there's a ton of racing. Felipe Nystrom, our local guy, has gone over there and done a bunch of races, and he's getting lapped in every race, and he's just loving every second of it. So it's been fun to see him like get caught by Vanderpool or by
Get some
Vanner.
TV time. That's
Yes,
smart. It's well
he
played.
does.
Yeah.
He gets some
I would
TV
I would
sponsor that
surge
boy.
every time.
It's
I would just sprint with everything I have when I'm getting lapped. I actually literally used to do that in track and field, like get lapped in a 10K and just be like, I'm just going to go with these guys as long as possible, get on their back and just go.
Just go. Just hang
Just
for as
see
long
what
as
you can do.
So the racing has been fantastic. There were like 4 races in a row, day after day after day. It started with the World Cup, and then there were three super prestige races all in a row. And Matthew Van Der Poel, Wout van Aert, and Thomas Pidcock have been at all these races.
Yeah.
So they've all been lining up together, and they have been battling every race. It has been if you have GCN Plus, or even if you go to YouTube and watch like
highlights,
like Flow Sports like highlight clips or GCN Plus's highlight clips, it has been amazing. I think Wout has won 2 or 3 of the races, and Van Der Poel has won 2 of the races, and they've all been different. Where one has been Wout and Van Der Poel both got away like right on the first lap. Van Der Poel just drilled it. Wout got on his wheel. They battled. They got 40 seconds away from everybody else, and Pidcock he didn't get a good start, and he just lost the train. So he was like not in it for the whole race. And they battled and switched, leading for the whole race, and it came down to a final sprint, and they both got on the pedals, and Van Der Poel pulled his pedal out, so his shoe popped out, and so Wout ended up winning that one. So it was.
If he didn't, who do you think wins?
I think Wout still had it.
Still wins, yeah.
Because he started beforehand, and what happened was Van Der Poel was pressing to try to make it to the final corner in the lead, and he botched a turn because he was pressing. So he had to dismount, he had to run through a sand section and remount. And he was able to remount and get right on Wout's wheel, but his shoes were full of sand. And so,
but that's my question though. If the shoes were not full of sand and he's sitting right on his wheel and they're going to come into a sprint, do you think he sits in the slipstream and comes around him and gets the win, or do you think that Wout holds the line and throws down a few more watts?
I don't think we'll know. I think that Wout would have had it, but
they're both so powerful.
So, it's
ridiculous.
It's just crazy. And then there was another race where, with like 2 laps to go, all 3 of them were together.
Pidcock was leading like the first half of that race, right?
Right. Pidcock's leading half the race.
But it was weird. Like there were multiple times where someone would get off the front and go, and then they would get brought back.
This was yesterday's race.
That was yesterday's race.
So it was a night race. It was yesterday's race. It was a night race, and Pidcock, Wout, and Vanderpool all ended up getting away from everybody else. Same kind of issue.
Those three.
But they kept trading poles, but somebody would make a mistake and somebody would get like a 5-second or a 7-second gap. And you think,
there they go.
Pidcock's out. He's not going to catch back on. And then he catches back on. And as soon as he catches back on, what do? Attack. So he goes right to the front and goes around him, and Wout gets dropped. But he was able to pull himself back. And so he pulls himself all the way back, and he gets to the front, and Vanderpool like has a mishap in the sand, and so he gets dropped. I mean, they just kept swapping back and forth and swapping back and forth, and finally, Pidcock was ticked at this point because 4 races in a row. He like barely is making the podium because it's Wout and it's Vanderpool.
Yeah.
And so he's all fired up. And so he just wants to out sprint Wout, and he just couldn't out sprint
I'm
Wout.
telling you, and I said this before the
He got second, right?
He got
No,
second. Yeah.
for the cyclocross season. If you had to make a movie about these guys or to relate it to a movie, you've seen Christmas Story. Please tell me you watched that over the holidays,
Yes,
right?
yes.
The little brother Randy. He wants to be. He's like, hey, guys, come on, wait for me. That is Pidcock. He wants to be one of the big kids, and he's strong as hell. He's got the rainbow stripes on, but Vanderpool and Van Aert, those are the big brothers, and they're still smacking them around.
Okay, but why does Pidcock have the rainbow stripes on?
Because those guys didn't race.
That's correct.
Exactly. I mean, you got to hand it to him. If there was no such thing as Vanderpool and Van Aert, it would be the Pidcock show.
Yes,
but
it would
just
be
not,
for sure.
not the case. But
And he had a good road season.
and he's still younger.
I mean, he's a great athlete.
He's still younger than those guys, so he's still technically developing. I mean, he could get faster, and he's learning from some of the best right now, and he knows what needs to happen.
Did you see that Pidcock, in the middle of all this, or just before this Christmas cyclocross season started, he went to a training camp in Mallorca with his team and like took a very coveted KOM by like 2 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Like a 22-minute climb, he took the KOM by 2 minutes. He averaged 6.7 watts per kilogram.
Oh gosh.
For 2 minutes. For 22
What's
minutes.
interesting is he's like a
Freaking
legit
A.
climber.
Yes.
Like a legit climber, which he's not. I mean, like he's doing cyclocross. He's not a climber by the standard, but like he did well in the Tour on climbing routes, right?
Yeah.
And did he
won-
win Ventoux? He won
Alpe d'Huez.
Alpe d'Huez. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So he won that one. Was it with Chris Froome? Yes, I think that's what it was. I don't remember.
Chris Froome was in it.
He was in the mix.
Yeah, that's right.
No, but I'm just thinking like he's got a future. I'm just not
Oh, yeah.
sure. I mean, I don't think he is.
Well, that's the thing
it's just-
here.
those guys are so crazy.
These 3 guys, cyclocross is like, we're just having fun.
Yeah, it's playtime.
This is playtime. We're just having fun.
And you think they're going to work hard this summer? You think that's the game plan?
Oh, yeah, and then I think they will back off a bit, regroup, and then start legit training camps for the spring classics because they all have goals for the spring classics. Here's the other thing.
This is the future of cycling. Not even the future, the current.
Yes.
Basically.
Correct.
Like these 3 athletes.
Right.
And it's not just cyclocross, it's cycling.
Yes.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Because they could win gravel worlds or any I mean, like it's like you got the classics. They could do cyclocross. They could do gravel if they wanted to, which I'm sure they don't because who cares?
Yeah, the
at that
UCI
level.
riders don't care
And then
about gravel.
and then on the road, those are 3 contenders for some sort of jersey. Like Pidcock could do the climbing jersey, maybe.
Yes.
Wout could, I guess, green and whatever he wants.
Whatever he wants. Here's the other thing too about this Christmas period. These guys all get like starting line fees for showing up at these races.
Yeah.
So in a Christmas period, they can make some bucks.
How much do you think that is? Do you
I know? Yeah. So normally, Pidcock gets about 8,000 euros
Okay, that's not that much.
to start a race, but if you do 10 of them,
It's not that much for those. I mean,
still in a 10-day period,
To go race
you
cyclocross
can
bikes and have fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that's a big. I
Make
mean,
80
the guy's got the
1,000
rainbow.
euros
He's
or
got the
something.
rainbow jerseys on.
yeah. But
he
still,
should.
you just take that money.
So Pidcock's makes
Okay,
about
so-
8.
So we should relate this to like speaker fees. Like if you're if you're one of the top 3 people for speaking events, your speaking fees are probably more like
150 grand or 250 grand for an hour. But that's like, George Bush shows up at your event, you're going to pay him 250 grand to
right
to give you a speech. But
if it was 20 grand for these guys instead of 8.
Okay, so
keep going.
Pidcock makes 8. Vanderpool gets about 15,000 euros.
Okay.
And Wout gets between 15 and 20,000 euros. So the super prestige races, all the those all can have appearance fees for these guys. So they can make some bucks.
So it's that and prize money.
Yes.
And
But there's
they
not
still
much
get their
prize
salary.
money.
There's not much prize money? Okay.
Plus the salary, yeah.
Yep.
But the World Cup races are not supposed to have
Right.
appearance fees, right?
Yep.
But it is like the worst kept secret that they are paid somehow by somebody. I mean,
Because they want them to show up, man.
right? They want them to show up. So like that
makes-
snow race that happened a week and a half ago in Italy, right?
Yep.
Vanderpool showed up. Why the heck did he show up? Well,
Got paid.
he got paid, even though it was a World Cup race, and why didn't he just not start the race if he wasn't going to go? It's because he got paid to start the race. And so I'll just cruise around for an hour and make, 20,000 euro, 15,000 euros.
Well, and honestly, like, you got to think ticket sales.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't know how much it costs to go to a cyclocross race there.
It's 15 euros. It's not that much.
Yeah. But like, if there's no one there to go watch,
No.
you're not that stressed. But if you're going to go see the world champion or even better, these 3 guys duke it out,
The
then
crowds have been deep.
Yeah.
They have been thick. So
I
I
wonder
went
how many
to
people they could put.
I went to that like totally nasty race in Overijse, Belgium, and Pidcock was there, and it was a big deal that he was there, and you were able to watch him race. And if Wout and Vanderpool would have been there, there would have been 10,000 more people there. It'd have been even thicker.
You think that there was 10,000 people there?
I think there was
at that race.
I think there was like 20,000 people watching.
Oh my gosh. I mean, ticket prices, that adds up. And
Yeah.
these people that are promoters need to think about that. Like, you need those 3. If you can get those 3,
You get those 3.
you can
just so
print money.
So you pay these guys,
That's why I think
you spend
8
50,000
grand isn't
euros.
that much.
No, but
yeah.
you get that many more people to show up. It's kind of worth it. So
Yeah.
anyway,
and then that's just like the tip of the iceberg. That's ticket prices, because if you think about it, there's also like television fees, and then there's the whole like, we're going to promote our event for the forever in the future.
Yeah.
Like this
by
is
showing these pictures of these guys here.
Yeah.
And they're duking it out.
And this is the race where MVP, hit the sand and pulled his, clip out, and like everyone's going to remember that for the following 10 years.
And the coverage has been awesome. The
Yeah.
coverage, the television coverage and the commentary has been great.
What's the best? You think GCN's the best coverage?
GCN's pretty good.
Or are you liking Flow Track or Flow Bikes?
The thing I like about the Flow Sports is they have a ticker going on at the bottom. They have a ticker going on the bottom that shows where everybody's at in the last lap.
That's nice.
And that's nice.
Especially
And-
if you're pulling for someone that's not in the top 3 or whatever. Like I was looking at the women's race and I was like,
Where's Clara?
Where's Clara?
Yeah, right. And she's done well too. There was a muddy race. She took 6th in.
wow.
But last night's race, and she's focusing on World Cups, not the super prestige races. They're 2 separate things. I think last night she was like 13th or something like that. But it's
not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
13th's not bad.
So she's doing well. Anyway, I got all amped about it because the races have been so much fun to watch. It's to watch these 3 battle it out race after race, and any one of them can win at any time. It's just been like captivating.
Yeah. In some ways, don't you think it's better than watching the classics? I just feel like classics.
There's more action, and it's an hour.
And for the
like
classics,
1
I feel
hour.
like it's like totally random, like throw the dice and someone's going to end up in the right spot at the right time to have a chance to win.
Right.
Whereas cyclocross, it feels more like, nope, the same 3 guys that have the skills are going to be up front.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my like quick shoot from the hip, like take on the whole, classics versus cyclocross kind of conversation.
Holy cow! It's been so much fun to watch. So you know, as a fan and as a cyclist, it was just pure candy.
Yeah. Well, and you had
It was double salt licorice from
oh boy,
Dutch licorice.
the good stuff. Well, at least you had some Zwifting to do.
Yeah, and that was fun. It gave me something to do while I was sitting on the dumb
Cranking
trainer,
out the miles.
just watching things. So,
Anything else? Anything else?
No, nothing else is
Perfect.
happened.
Good.
Champ out.
Champ Bailey.
Has anything else happened?
This is a quiet time for triathlon. I haven't looked around to see what's been happening, but I don't think anything's happening right now. They announced that Ironman is not going to have the guys and girls at Kona this next year.
Okay, so they're going to do the guys at Kona
they're going to do the girls
women?
at Kona and the guys. They're not sure yet, but they said the rumors are that it's going to be in Nice, France.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's basically because Kona doesn't want it there anymore.
It's too much, right?
They don't want all the people. They don't want all of it. They were doing this really cool format where it was like Thursdays was the girls and Saturdays was the guys, and I actually thought that was great. I in an ideal world they would keep switching that back and forth. But then you get to watch the whole girls race, and it's like you focus on the girls race, and then 2 days later you have the guys race. It's a cool format, but you're shutting down basically the city of Kona for.
It's like the whole that half of the island just shuts down.
Yeah, because it's
for
like the only pipeline,
all day Thursday and then all day Sunday.
So they were just like, no. I
heard they had volunteer issues.
Yep, they did.
They had a hard time having enough volunteers.
Yeah,
and like some of the pro men were volunteering for the women's race on Thursday because they just didn't have enough volunteers because the locals have jobs.
Well, and like. Prices to stay there were just out of control. Of course. Some of the pro athletes were like, I'm not even going to go to Kona this year, even though I qualified because renting anything is ridiculously priced.
$700 a night.
Yeah. It's just crazy. So I don't know.
That's interesting.
How do you feel about Cavendish finally landing with a team?
Oh, where did he land?
Astana.
He did land with Astana.
Like we said,
That's
we were
a good
right.
team.
We're always right.
That's a good option for him.
Yeah, it is a good option for him. They're in the mix. He has some lead out guys.
He'll be invited to every race.
Yep.
I mean, I think that was like the big thing for him is
the big thing for him was going to the Tour de France and getting a shot at breaking Eddie Merckx's record. That's
not going to happen, but all right.
Well, we should just throw some money down.
I just got my plane tickets and a pocket full of tax to go over there.
Tax, yeah. Yeah, we should have some sort of bet. The only problem is I think all of us are betting against him. But there should. Okay,
do you want to see him break the record?
No. But here's what we should do. If he breaks the record, I don't know what should we do.
But didn't Evan and I have something?
Yeah, you guys got to go do some ride that some other one of you puts together.
That's right.
Something along those lines.
Okay, you have a bet. Side bet. Okay.
Yeah, Evan and I have a bet. If I win, he's got to go mountain biking with me. And if he wins, I've got to go time trialing with him or something.
You got to bring out your old time trial bike?
I know you sold it. Give him some clip-on aero bars.
You can use my Trek. You can use my Trek bike.
Okay,
it's safe.
Great.
Put some flat bars on it for him.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So, that'll be a thing. Lance, do you think he's going to win a stage? At the Tour? Not any other race, just the Tour. Do you think he'll win a stage?
Yes.
Seriously?
At the Tour? You think he'll win it at the Tour?
I do.
And this is the bet that you and Evan have?
He is so motivated to get that record that I think he will lay himself out to do it.
He'll probably do something dumb and get crushed.
Yeah.
And he'll cry about it. It'll be everybody else's fault.
Yep.
Maybe. But I think he'll do it.
I think
that's my guess.
I think if you're a smart betting man and you're not Lance, that you say no. I think there's a chance. I think it's like I think he's got like a 30% chance of. I think it's a decent chance. I think he's got like a 30% chance of doing it.
Yeah.
He just shocked me when he.
I want to know what's Wout's game plan for this tour coming up. I mean, are they going to let him kind of run amok a little bit more? Or are they going to still focus on green, or what's the deal? Because I don't see Cav having the firepower to beat him, and I don't see him having the legs to beat him either. I mean, he's a smart, crafty, cagey little racer.
There's so many sprint stages that there's just it might be that one of them does and one of them works and one of them doesn't. It's there's different sprint stages where Wout is. I feel like he will do well on a very difficult stage with a sprint finish.
Yeah,
and Cav won't.
Yeah.
He needs to just have like a buttery smooth day and in the
Suck down
perfect
the road,
conditions and
Cav
line
sits
them up and let them.
on the hilly stages. Cav sits in the gruppetto. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Wout does not.
Can win those stages.
He's doing work for his
Yes.
GC contenders teammates. So
I don't know. I think that's something I'm really looking forward to
It
in
should be-
23. I think that the
yeah.
tour is going to be even better than
It's
it
gonna be
was
great.
last year, and it
It's
was a
gonna be so much fun.
fantastic year. So,
So it's
yeah, it should be good.
yeah.
anything else?
No.
Okay.
You out?
Champ out.
Right on. Let's just go straight into the topic.
All right.
Okay.
It's the end of the year, and so let's talk about this year. What went really well for you personally, and then in the world of cycling and life in general, and then what was crap for 2023 or 2022? 2023 is going to be fantastic. It's just
2023 is gonna be
hopefully.
great.
It has to be. We say that every year, but yeah.
All right. So
Go ahead.
My
man, start.
family's doing fantastic.
Yep.
My athletic performances / weight gainer 2000.
It's right on track.
I'm not gaining enough weight. Oh.
I really am not a big fan of like, let's make New Year's resolutions,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it just
yeah.
never works out. But it's good to like have changes and have some goals and some things
No,
that you want to accomplish.
I agree.
I mean, do you? And you're not ever the type that likes to go on the record and say, "I'm going to do this." But do
No.
you have like a broad brush stroke that you can throw at us?
My New Year's resolution is the same as it's been for the past 10 years, and that's like run more. It's always the same.
Yep.
But I also
mine's
want to take a
run
little
not
bit of. I want
once.
to take a little break from alcohol. I would like to drop a couple pounds and just stay. Like, I mean, to be honest, like the past month or two, it's been like pretty decent. Like, not like I'm crushing it or anything like that, but it's just like slow, steady progression. Like I'm running a little bit more, swimming a little bit
encouraging,
more.
yeah.
I'd say the biking could use a little bit of work, but like it's encouraging, and I just need to keep the gradual build.
Yep.
No like major stuff, but it'd be better if I cleaned up my diet a little bit, and that's stuff that I can aim to do January 1st. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yep. Did you ever do the dry January thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
I've done that most Januaries.
I've done it the last.
I've done it before too.
You've heard of it? You've heard of it?
I've done dry
won it. I
January.
think you won.
I've won dry 2022 actually.
You want it?
Last 2 years, I've
Victory
done
is yours.
January and February, and I think this year
Yeah.
I'm going to actually add March to that as well.
Nice.
So just do the
Yeah.
first quarter.
I'm going to Hawaii in February. It's like maybe one of those. It's like kind of like, well, will I have a beer? Maybe. I don't know. Like it's.
You kind of almost have to, but
No, you
yeah.
don't. You don't.
But
I mean,
it's
you've made it
I
to
don't.
you've made it to Hawaii without a beer
And that's true. I have
somehow.
somehow.
So I
Don't they have that wacky tobacco stuff over there?
That's what
That's
Lance is
everywhere. You know, just ride through the streets of Amsterdam. The whole town smells like weed.
Really?
It's like you leave Amsterdam.
Is that
like,
why you came home with those licorice?
That's right.
No.
Maybe this
You
is
got the munchies over there.
You just
yeah,
you just doped me. You doped me.
it's funny.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't like to do a big New Year's push or whatever, but I'll just kind of like that kind of stuff, like clean up stuff or whatever. But
But going back to 22,
2022.
family was good.
family was good. And you know what else is good? YouTube stuff has been
YouTube
great.
channel's awesome.
Yeah.
I've
you're
been doing
killing
a
it
really
there.
good job of my like one video per week. Get it out there. Get something out,
Yep.
even if it's not good. Put it out there.
I like the one video per year thing. That works pretty
That's
well. too.
also
Yeah. Yeah.
just consistency. Stick with it. And,
Just had to stay on the board.
yeah, and that's been great. I've had a lot of fun with it, and I really, that's like one of my like when I have time, I love doing it. It's like my favorite thing to play around with. Which sometimes I feel bad because I'll be like, oh, I should go jump on Zwift, but I'm doing a really good job editing this video, and I'll just like skip the
Right. Right.
And so that's a negative in some ways, but whatever. It's been fun. So 2022 has been a good year overall. The big thing was the Achilles surgery in April, and then recovering from that. And
And you've had progress since then.
I've had progress.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say if, I'll ever be able to like build back up to a marathon. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe not. But
But you know what?
doesn't matter.
If
Yeah.
you don't, it's okay.
I know, it's fine.
It's okay.
There's there's other things to get after. So
Yeah.
So that's the
What about
personal.
the world of sports? Is there anything that kind of stick out to you as like that was fantastic?
So I'm gonna the broad stroke of things is like the two things that I absolutely love, and every year I'm like, that was fantastic. Tour de France was so good. It was so good. I just like there's something about it like where I absolutely love sitting down for 3 weeks every morning with a cup of coffee and just Like, and my family knows is like, oh, is it that time? They don't know when it is. They're just like, oh, it's the next 3 weeks. And every morning there's just biking on TV when they wake up and then come downstairs. It's like biking on TV for 3 weeks. And it's just so good. The stories are good. The people are good. You get into the racers. I love like every minute of it. And then I also think it's similar too with like triathlon, where it's like the World Championships in Kona is just so excellent. So I think that's just this. It's the pinnacle of the sport. You're seeing the best of the best, trying to have their best days. Right. At a certain time. Where same, on cycling, where it's like they have to have a good 3 weeks. And sometimes they make it 2 weeks, and it's not all 3 weeks. In triathlon, it's like everything for that one day.
One day,
and they've got to hit it. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. Or you're like, I counted this person out last year. I'm pretty sure they're going to do well this year, and then they just bomb. And you're like, okay, well, it's you can't figure it out. And so it's fun to do all this stuff, all the podcasts around it, all the predictions. Like Lance has his picks, I have my picks. Like it's just like so much fun. I love every minute of that.
Jake doesn't have picks though. Jake sucks.
I'm trying to think of a controversial pick that you have. Like you like Jumbo Visma. Like I think they're a good team, man. They are such a good team, and I like them. That's the thing.
That's the thing is I like them as people. I mean, there are other teams out there that are fantastic. Like even Sky in its heyday, I never really cared for them. There was just something about that. It just didn't feel as organic. It felt like you got all these superstars and you just said coexist, figure it out. And I mean, there were some good guys on there. Like Richie Port was with him for a lot of years.
Yeah.
Loved Richie Port.
We love Richie Port.
But it just, I don't know, felt a little too manufactured. That team feels organic. It feels like they really care about each other. They like each other. Good. They work well together.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so who from that team? I think have they already decided like who's going to lead the tour and who's going to do Vuelta and
Vingegaard's doing the tour.
Vingegaard's doing the
tour, and then Roglic is going to be doing the
they're going to split him up.
I think it is, or the Giro, one of the two. I think it's the Vuelta that they're going to send him to. That's going to be. He'll probably be at the tour.
Do you think he'll support?
But he'll be more
in a supporting role. Vingegaard, they've already said that's their boy. That's the one that they're going to get behind.
I think Vingegaard even said that if it turns out that Roglic is better off, he'd like nothing more than to see him win, too.
And that's the lovely thing about that team.
Yes.
They have that capacity. Like, he'll be there in support, but if the wheels fall off for Vingegaard for some reason,
and
Roglic
it doesn't for Roglic, then he'll support Roglic.
Manages to figure out how not to crash or get beat up and whatnot, then there you go.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I love that team. I think they're great. It's easy to cheer for them. It's easy to like Wout.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like, you got a guy that can win on the climbs and the sprints, and he's willing to work for his teammates. It's hard not to like that guy.
Here's a question for you. Like I loved Sagan for all of the years. It's just his personality and the stuff that he brought to the sport and how he was just such a dominant force in the green jersey. Wout comes along. I think I might like Wout better.
Oh yeah,
they 100%. Hate each other.
Do they?
They're not fan. No, it's more. I think it's more that Sagan doesn't like Wout, but it might go both ways. But
Wout crossed the finish line at one of the tour stages with the big old bird right in Sagan's face.
Really? I don't remember that. But there was one point where like Sagan was upset because Wout felt like he got cut off or whatever.
It's all sprinter stuff.
And it was just like, and Wout was like a full bike length ahead. He was like, I didn't cut you off. I don't even know where you are.
Sagan, he's in the twilight years of his racing days.
When he was on, it was fun to watch him in the classics and everything. Yeah, and it was super fun to watch.
The guy is like, he's a monster on the mountain bike too. He never raced cyclocross like Wout does. I mean, I'm sure he's had some races in his time, but he was a fun guy to watch. But then Wout has come along, and he is so stinking dynamic. He can do so much on the bike. And he seems like he does it with grace for the most part. He's not a super arrogant guy. I mean, I think he gets a little bit tired of people constantly getting in his face and wanting interviews and talking to him and like questioning him. He's like, dude, just let me go race my bike and leave me alone a little bit. But I don't know. Who do you like better, Lance?
I mean, what's funny watching?
I know who Lance likes better.
Watching these races this last week between Pidcock and Wout and Van der Poel, I found myself just cheering for Wout the whole time.
Yeah.
Come on, Wout. Get back on the wheel. Let's go.
Part of me wants Tom Pidcock to win. Because I feel like he can't. Because I feel like he can't. Like he's like cheering for the underdog.
Right. It is like cheering for the underdog.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like and he's small too. Like I feel like, come on, little guy. Like I want you to win. Right. I want you to win one. It doesn't have to be like the world championships. Anyway.
There's a story that came out that Wout gave that he's having difficulty with fans recently. Mm-hmm. That people will come and knock on his door at his personal home.
Oh my gosh.
Like he has like dozens of them a week where they will come and knock on his door, and he doesn't want to be rude, you know. He's
but it's like, come on, people.
So he just doesn't answer the door. He's like, I'm just not going to answer the door if I'm with my family or if I'm out. You know, I'll be respectful, but he's become so popular and so loved by the Belgian people that everybody just wants to be close to him.
Okay. The boy's got to be making some serious dough. I mean, why is he not living in some sort of gated community or somewhere where you
Great
can
question.
keep these people away, or even just like employ somebody to stand at the front door and no, you need to go away. This is his private property, private residence. You just don't
it's
go
a big
plug these people.
expectation just to be like, hey, this person has to move because of his success.
Right.
That doesn't seem fair to me, but it is what it
I
is.
don't know.
Gladly move to have that kind of success.
Well, maybe you don't love your home as much as maybe this is like the home that I don't know. I have no idea if it's like a home he grew up in or whatever.
Or where his in-laws are at, or where his wife's family's at.
Who knows?
Or, that he has a small son now, and like how ingrained is the son with wherever he's at. All that makes a difference. What his family dynamic is like, and what his extended family dynamic is like, and that might be why he's sticking around. So
Yeah, that's the downside. But I mean, I'll gladly take the upside to have deal with the downside to have that upside. So,
Yep.
Anyway, cool. All right. We talked a little bit about your upsides. Anything else that you want to talk about? We can come back to you if you got some more later.
Sure.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know.
Lance,
yes.
what was 2022 like for you?
Was your back thing this year? Was this or was it 2 years ago?
No, it was 2 years ago. So it started off with a bad back. So
Okay.
physically, I've sucked this year. It has not been a good
we
physical
need
year
Evan
for
here.
me.
We need someone that's like had a great year. We need Evan.
I mean, I had back issues. I had COVID that laid me out. I broke my ribs on a dumb ride with Jake that laid me out. But I recovered from all those things pretty well.
Yeah.
So, but like personally, in my personal life, with my relationship with my wife and my kids has never been better.
And you had some pretty fantastic stuff that you got to go do this year. Some experiences of a lifetime.
Yes, there's just been some amazing things that have happened this year that I had so much fun. This trip to Europe that I took with my
Is that
wife.
the highlight of the year for you?
There were a couple days on that trip that were just magical, that were just amazing to be a part of. Also, the trip I took with my buddy Steve with the van and our mountain bikes,
that was cool.
just driving through Utah. That was a magical week. Connecting with my good friend Steve and just having a great time. So
Nice.
there's been great things. I mean, the race season for me blew. I did not have good results.
What were some of your notable finishes, though? I mean, you did find the podium.
I found the podium in a mountain bike short track race, a couple of mountain bike short track races. I did go to Rebecca's Private Idaho on a whim, and I placed in the top 15 in the...
Which is fantastic because that's a deep field. Even that you were riding in the kitty.
I was riding the kitty race,
Yeah.
and I did place in the top 15, and so that was pretty fantastic that I had that decent result. But that's really about it. I didn't really have any notable results beyond that.
Gotcha.
So, which is fine. I didn't expect that out of myself after, at our age, or I should say at my age, I'm older than you guys. To be fast racing, you have to have 18 months of uninterrupted training, and that can't be messed with. I mean, when you're younger, when you're in your 20s or in your early 30s, you can recover faster and
Bounce right back.
you can bounce right back. But if I don't have a good 15, 18 months of uninterrupted training, I'm not going to be any good.
What's your training plan look like? It's 18-month plan.
It's an 18-month plan. Yeah, that's right.
Starts tomorrow.
So I've actually been doing training road workouts for the last month because I'm.
Were you coming back from cruise?
Yes, yeah. After the cruise, yeah.
Where you did your workout from bend in the elbow with a fork.
I think I gained 10 pounds on that thing.
That's not bad.
It was
That's
impossible.
normal.
It was impossible not to. So.
You have to.
Yeah,
you
do.
have to experience
You
that.
have to.
That's part of life. That's
If you
part
don't
of
want to
living.
gain 10 pounds, don't go on a damn cruise.
That's true.
Right. That's right.
Stay home.
So it was, So it was good. I mean, I had a great 2022. There were some experiences that were just amazing. That that first gravel ride back from COVID was magical for me. And it's funny, I did a lot of fantastic rides.
Yeah.
Our training camp rides, the rides I did all through Europe, the stuff I did all through Utah, the stuff I did all through Oregon. I had all these great rides. But after being so sick with COVID and thinking I might die,
you were really sick.
I was really sick for a couple days and thought, oh, I'm going to die in this stupid hotel in Grand Junction. But when I was able to get back on my bike and I was in Idaho near Sun Valley and I was on my gravel bike and I rode like 8 miles an hour for like 40 minutes. And that ride to me was
like your favorite?
I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it because it was just like magical to me. It was like, okay.
It's affirmation that you're coming out of it. You're like, okay, I can do this.
I'm going to be okay.
You're going to be able to bike again.
I'm going to be able to bike okay. I'm going to be able to move okay. It's all going to be okay. So that was that dumb, silly little ride on the Harriman Trail, which is one of the best gravel routes in the United States and possibly the world. That was magical to me. So that was kind of a good moment for me.
Nice. What about pro races? Do you have anything that really sticks out in your mind?
The biggest thing which is the biggest bummer was the loss of Mo Wilson. To have her be murdered.
Yeah.
That was very tragic to experience. I mean, that shook not only the gravel world, but also, the bike racing world. I'd had some interactions with her. My wife had some interactions with her. We knew a lot of the people around her, and so to go through that was devastating, and it still is. Yeah. It's been hard on a lot of people, and that case is still not settled. We still don't know all the details of exactly what's happened, but.
We kind of talked about this a little bit before. You were talking about the documentary and how vegan cyclists said, no, not going to do it. But do you think that once everything kind of has settled and it's done and in the past, we'll say, do you think that would be a good movie to make just to kind of celebrate her life? And not have it be about the tragedy of what actually happened, but just to celebrate her life?
Yeah, I do. It's probably already been talked about.
Yeah, I think that would be utterly fantastic for the sport of cycling. And I think that that's probably something that she would like, to have a legacy of like, all right, I know that she died and all that other stuff, but to know that we were able to make a movie about her and kind of talk about how cool of a person she was, but then, even more than that, it's like how great the sport of cycling is.
How she took the gravel scene kind of by storm and then started dominating.
Yeah.
And then to be cut out in the middle of that, it has Hollywood story written all over it.
I just don't want it to be done poorly.
Yeah. It needs to be like the 5 years down the road.
It needs, I don't know, it feels...
Ron Howard or Tom Hanks needs to produce this thing and put their little shine on it.
You don't want it to be
about the murder.
Or about the profit from the movie, because it is a good story in a weird way or a horrible way. But
hey, Matt, why don't you make that movie?
Pass.
Well, just like
I mean, they do.
Well, the Chris Kyle movie. Did you guys see American Sniper?
I didn't see it. I don't know if
It was a Bradley Cooper movie with Clint Eastwood, I believe. I think Clint Eastwood directed it.
I think I did see that. That was a great movie. Yeah.
So, and that was with Bradley Cooper, and it was about this sniper in Afghanistan, a U.S. sniper who had a ton of confirmed kills, but he eventually was killed at a gun range because he was helping veterans who were having issues by taking to the gun range.
Stuff,
PTSD, and one of the veterans shot him at a gun range, like just had a mental breakdown and killed him. And the movie was excellent. It was about him as a person, whether you believe in the politics of the war or not, or what he was doing or not, to see it was about his life and what he did, and his murder was a footnote at the end.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the crux of the
story.
You
remember who he was.
Yes.
Not like how he died.
And that's why I would hope that they would do something like that with Mo Wilson and her life. Yeah.
I know, but my fear is that because there's like weird romance stuff involved, that becomes part of the movie, and that I just feel like it's not.
And all the weird details of the woman disappearing and going to Costa Rica and stealing her sister's passport. And yeah,
it has a lot of things where I think could make it the Hallmark movie type that we would all hate to watch.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway.
But anyway, I think the Mo Wilson story is the tragedy of the year by far in all of cycling. And, you know, that was sad to see. The greatest part of pro cycling this last year?
Cyclocross.
The Christmas season in cyclocross.
Yeah, it's been really good.
It's been really exciting to watch. The tour was great. The tour was super fun. It was very engaging. It was, you know, in question, and so that made it even more exciting. So I that is probably it for me.
Yeah.
Don't we all have to admit that the 2021 tour was better than the 2022 just because it came down to the wire and that like time trial thing, that hill time trial, wasn't that 2021? That wasn't it?
Where
That
Roglic
one moment
blew up.
Yeah.
Roglic blew up.
That one stage, that
was
one
just-
uphill time trial was a classic of all time.
Yes.
I mean, it might very well be the like best stage, even though it was a time trial. It could have been like one of the best ever. But I think
It's up there, yeah.
I think in 2022 it was more dynamic. So I think on the whole, like if you look at it from bell to bell, I think that tour was a little bit better. If you just kind of sniper it down into that one little segment that happened in 2021, that's probably better. But man, think about all the things that happened this past year. The stuff that Wout was able to attain and winning
crazy.
in so many different ways, shapes, and form. And then everybody thinking that Pogacar is like a shoe-in. He's wins. It was like it was almost over before it began. And then this Vingegaard guy that we kind of saw some glimpses the year prior, like all of a sudden comes out as this like a monster.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%. Like I think, I don't know. I would have to go back and listen to our podcast, but Vingegaard, like all of us were thinking, like, oh yeah, he's good. He is really good. He is really good. Oh crap, he's the best.
Yeah.
Like,
and just that one stage where it was just him and Pogacar just throwing down, and then Pogacar ends up going to the gravel and he falls down, and Vingegaard pulls up and like
Waits
for him, and like
sportsmanship, man.
That's fantastic.
You have to love that.
Yeah, you can't not love that, and the fact that was entertaining almost on a daily basis was magical. So
that was good.
I mean, but the year before that was great too, because Pogacar didn't overtake him until the very end. So you just kind of watch this daily progression, and you're like, this kid, there's something about this kid. And you just like, it's playing like the Jaws theme in the background. He's coming. You got to, watch out for him.
It's going to be hard for this next year, for the yellow jersey, to be as good as the past 2 years. In my opinion, I think it's going to be hard to keep up with how good it was the past 2 years. We don't know what's going to happen.
It'll be Pogacar and Vingegaard and
Egon Bernal's going to be back.
Yeah, and Roglic if he's able to come back strong enough.
Bernal? I think he will be. He's
I
been
you
training
hope
pretty
so.
damn hard.
You and Evan think he's going to be great.
I think he's
Let's place our bets now.
I think he's
Do you think he's going to be on the podium? Do you think he's going to be on the podium?
Oh, in all honesty, probably not. But
That's what I would think too.
I think he's going to make things interesting. Just him being there, he's going to have a few days where he's going to take a strong run at something and try and make a name for himself. And he's got a strong team around him.
If he wins a stage, I'll be so pumped. I just think
That'd be cool.
It's a comeback story after a major injury.
You love to see a comeback story.
And there's other names out there too. And I think that there's just going to be a lot of people swinging for the fences, and that's going to change the dynamics up there front just a little bit. So if you got more than one or two teams punching, trading blows, and going at it, and all of a sudden you've got 3, maybe 4 teams that can contest, that might make things a little bit more interesting to watch. So this year's going to be fantastic.
On the American cycling scene, the domination of Keegan Swenson in the Lifetime Grand Prix series was amazing.
Sure.
I think he won
everything.
He won 5 out of the 6 races or something like that.
Yeah.
So or 4 out of the 6 races, and the other 2 he was like second and third. His domination was just unbelievable. So that was a very cool story too
on the gravel scene. Yeah.
Claire Honsinger winning her third.
That was fantastic.
Third in a row. How many years do you think she's going to win it in a row? I mean, do we have anybody else on the U.S. scene that's up and coming, or that could give her some contention here? I mean,
Katie Klaus is making strides. She's still young too. Maddie Monroe is. No, she's not doing cyclocross. Is she doing cyclocross or she's doing mountain bike? I'm getting all mixed up. But yeah, obviously there's not a whole lot of big names coming. For Clara, and she's still young enough that she
could go for a while.
She could go for a while. So
what about Effin Compton? Do you think she could even come close to her 16 years in a row?
Dude, that's pretty unique.
That's weird.
Something special.
Yeah. It's either something special or something suspicious.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, think about how long she dominated, and this whole era of cycling is just
Yeah, I don't want to believe
tarnished.
that. I want to believe that people are honest and good and have the best intentions.
Yeah.
But
I think one of my highlights from this year was short track. And one of the moments that was one of my highlights was Lance being at a part of the race or the course, set up with his camera, taking a slow motion video of me bunny hopping a log and then another person bunny hopping a log. And then there's Claire Hansinger right behind them.
Yes.
So I was leading out the Hansinger train.
Nice.
And that was such
Right.
a cool moment. I'm like, she's a freaking rock star. And I mean, she kind of knows it, but I mean, there's so many people that look up to her. And for me to be in a race with her, that was
cool.
and
fantastic.
she shows up at our dumb local races
Yeah.
with 30 people in them and still lines up because
Yeah.
she loves her racer bike.
I know
Yeah.
that's cool.
That was cool.
It
is
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. And I'll just keep going here. Just the fact that Portland Short Track came back, granted it's under a new promoter and it was a split venues. I think that the part that Zone 5 had to play in it was fantastic. Scott Schultz, you did a fantastic job.
Yes, he
and
did.
I'm really excited to see what he does this year. And I really hope that I can free up as much time as I possibly can to throw some energy his way, because I think I want to see him be uber successful as a promoter here.
I'd love to
So,
see that grow and just get bigger and get back to what the
heart and soul of what it was.
What it was before. Yeah.
And I don't think we'll be going out to Washougal anymore. I think that's just too far of a drive for a lot of people to do on a weeknight.
Yeah.
The venue out there was fun though.
Yes, it
But
was.
if that ends up being more of like a weekend thing, and it might be something that's looking like that's going to happen, that's fine. But I would love to see Zone 5 take over all of the short track racing at Portland International Raceway and turn it into something magical again.
Yeah, that'd be
so
great.
Chris Shomps did a fantastic job of that for many, many, many years, and I would love to see Scott be able to take that all over.
But the scene has changed a bit. We don't quite have the access at PIR that Chris Schomp had during his years.
Yeah.
So, and that depends on
But maybe that
PIR.
stuff can change yearly.
Yes,
So you
correct.
just never know.
You never know.
From what I know, there's just one person kind of standing in the way there, and how that person is able to stand in the way, I don't know. I could be misinformed, but I don't know. I think that if enough people speak up and enough people say something and enough people make a stink, I know that city, if people are making a stink, people will start to pay attention, and
Well,
maybe you can get your way.
Money talks too.
That too.
So
Maybe you can find some big sponsors to
Yeah.
step up and help foot the bill
Yeah.
to do whatever. So, but yeah, anything else about this past year?
no, I think I've shared plenty.
For me, I didn't really do a ton. I mean, I think I had like 6 or 7 races. I don't know, something like that. I think it was 6. I came in second, I think like 5 of those races. But that's fine. Landing on the podium special. I mean, I'm never going to take that for granted. I didn't have any wins this year, but that's fine. Just to be able to get back to racing is fantastic. The short track was a lot of fun, and that was the bulk of the races that I did. I think the most, I don't know. I think they're all hard, and I think the most fun that I had doing a race was the hammer crit. And I think that when I kind of bullied all of you guys and said, all right, we're going to go race this as a team. And I said, nope, you're coming out and you're racing Lance, and Handel, you're going to come out.
I had
and
no business being in that race,
Srac-
and I still showed up. And
Srac gladly jumped in.
good.
And, Eric Hagg said there was just a bunch of us that jumped in. I think how many people were in that race, that one race that we did? It was like 8 or something like that.
Something like that. I know. I remember we rolled up to the start line, and somebody said, "Oh, here's the dialed hive."
Hive.
But that was just so much fun. Yeah. And I managed to find the podium. I got 3rd in my age group or something like that. But just being out there and being able to do that, it was a nice vote of confidence, because I haven't done anything like, I did a couple PRs a couple years ago, but for me and my shoulder, I get so nervous about that stuff. And it's
Being tight in a group of people where there could be.
And on the
accidents.
last lap, I had a guy like,
Just missed you.
he faded into me. We bumped into each other, and he almost lost it. He almost went down into me, and that kind of threw things off at the very end with how we were shaping things up to finish. But that's neither here nor there. But just being able to get through that, it's like, all right, you can do this. I just need to learn how to fall, I guess, and if that ever happens, and we'll be good. But that was a lot of fun. Those were some fun races. Downsides of this year, I've already said this multiple times. If you haven't heard, to go back and listen to the old podcast. But my leg just kind of went to crap, and but it went to crap because of a bunch of other good things. We had our 3rd season in a row of doing the flogging rides, and I think that it was a great year.
Yes.
I mean, I think we had like one person go down, and it was Jay Small because of the sand.
Yes.
And then there was another one where I wasn't there, and another one of our teammates wasn't paying attention, went into somebody's wheel and went down, and he was okay. But Jay Small ended up fracturing his hip a little bit, and that was kind of a bummer. But that's just going to happen. You know, you ride bikes long enough. It doesn't matter if you're out on a leisurely recovery ride, you could go down. But on the whole, I think it was really good, and I think we had even more people come out, and it's fun seeing other teams show up, and it's fun seeing people come out every single week and getting stronger. But the thing that I'm most proud about with these flogging rides are the people who are race curious or want to kind of get to see what it's like in that kind of an atmosphere, come out, fall in love with it, get stronger each week, and then pin on a number for the first time.
Yeah.
So many people have done that, and that makes me happy. I love seeing that, and whether it be with our team or another team or just independently seeing them go out there and pin on a number, love it.
That's cool to see.
So-
I agree.
So, favorite moments from pro cycling were having you guys over to watch and commentate on the tour. We did that twice.
We did that. That was fun.
We'll have to do that again.
That was a blast. And it was, I think I had quite a few people reach out to me in different ways, shapes, or forms to tell me that it was almost more entertaining to wait to watch the tour so that they could try and sync it up and
watch it
listen
with
to our
us.
podcast. And some of them would just go back and watch it again and listen to the commentary, and they absolutely loved that.
We should,
So
we should set it up to where
we could live stream it on YouTube.
we could live stream it. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, just get our instant reactions and just have people chime in. I think that we could really have a lot of fun with that. And I think that that's something that even if nobody listened, I still want to do that weekend with you guys.
It was fun. It was very fun.
Let's plan on that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun for the next round this summer.
Yeah. Outside of that, I don't know if I have much else to throw out there. I do have one more question for you guys, and you can think about this for a second. Do you guys have a favorite piece of tech that came out this year? Something that was released this year, something that was new to you this year that you have really fallen in love with, and you're really keen on sharing that with the folks that listen to this podcast?
This should be like walk in the park for me.
Softball toss to
Should
Matt.
be
Here you go.
softball. Okay, so I don't like Garmin released the 1040 cycling computer.
Yep.
With solar. I think that's not. This is my like disappointment. The other cycling computers, the Roam version 2 was also released this year. Also not super impressed with that. I mean, it's got different buttons, but it's not like a revolutionary. There's just not
kinda
like a ton of new stuff.
Every
there.
year when they come out with a new iPhone and you're like, oh, that's going to be so great. And they really blow it up and they like talk about how fantastic it is. Then you get it and use it for like a week and you're like, this is like just
not
like my
that
old phone.
different. Yeah. So then I started thinking about like, okay, well, what about like watches or something like that? And there have been some really good stuff. And you know what I think is maybe the biggest hit of all the watches? The Apple Watch Ultra is, popular because it's like an Apple thing. Mm-hmm. But the Garmin Epix Gen 2, you're wearing one, you're wearing one. I have one somewhere.
I love this watch, Matt.
It was early in the year, and it was interesting because you got like an AMOLED 1000 nit brightness display, so very nice, crisp display that you can see very well. Higher resolution than your normal Garmin watches, and it's got like all the Phoenix 7 features to it. So it's like it's basically the top of the line what Garmin can do. This is what they put on. They did have a little bit of a slip because I wouldn't call it a slip, but it was just like this little piece where the 955 and the 255 came out and you had all this like morning report stuff, which I really enjoy. But using the Epix, you couldn't have that for like 6 months. It took forever for them to get that off. It's not like it came off of those devices, but to get that software ported to the Epix 2. And you guys probably have that now if you've updated your watch.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago that they released it, but you guys will be able to see your morning report. And I like having that.
That's
it was
a
like
nice
something
feature.
that I missed.
Yeah.
It was something that I missed when I didn't have the Epix. And so I did switch away from the Epix for a long time. But that's probably my gut feeling of like, this was the biggest tech hit of the year. And I think Garmin's just going to be like, oh, people like this AMOLED screen. We're going to go all in on AMOLED screens. Like my gut feeling for next year is that the rest of Garmin's watches are just going to all be like AMOLED screens.
My only gripe about that watch was the fact that the battery life was shortened. Based on how I had it set up, it was max 6 days that I was getting out of it,
which is very normal.
But I've changed it to where it doesn't have it always on.
Okay.
And so it will turn on when I turn my wrist. It'll like, oh, there it is. And then when I go back, it'll turn off.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting like 15 or 16 days out of it. And that's
right.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I have mine set up the way yours was set up. So it's like 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
And I think here's the thing.
Still a good amount
that's
of time.
very good for a bright AMOLED screen. Like I'm looking down at the Apple Watch Ultra and it's like 2 days. You get 2 days, which granted, this one is a brighter display. It's a smarter device, but how is Garmin getting at least twice the battery life out of their AMOLED screen? Like Apple needs to take a look at that and be like, this is where the bar is. The bar is at 5-6 days.
Yeah.
They should do that with the Apple Watch Ultra.
That's the only reason why I don't have an Apple Watch and have never wanted one is because you just take it. You can't even wear it for 24 hours without the battery one.
Well,
the new ones you can, but still you're only at 2 days.
It's also big and it's
a massive
bulky
watch.
and
And I don't necessarily need another way for people to get in touch with me and to get even more notifications. My phone's just fine, and not for nothing, the Garmin will shoot over all that information to a certain degree. I can see what like a text message.
You're not taking calls on it or whatever, but like it's just like it's always going to be, or at least for the foreseeable future, at least for now, the way I see it is like if you're into endurance sports, get a Garmin. If you're into smartphone devices and you want to be able to control your garage door opener or whatever, get an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Like, and they'll do okay at the other stuff. But that's like the divide in the line of like what you should make a choice from, or you got 2 wrists, wear them on either.
There you go.
Dork it
I
out.
haven't seen Matt not wearing 2 watches in a long time.
yeah. I've been doing that. And this on my other wrist is the Garmin Enduro 2, which is really cool.
How do you like that flashlight?
Oh, I love the flashlight. I use it.
That's pretty cool.
I use it.
That is pretty cool.
I don't use it every day, but it's close.
Every night you do, I'm sure.
It's not every night.
I'm always using my phone for that. But
Are you? Yeah. Well, I'll still sometimes use my phone, and maybe that's just like because I forget.
Force of habit,
Force of
yeah.
habit.
Yeah.
But yeah, this morning I was like, I'm gonna kind of get around the house without waking up people. Yeah.
phone's talking
Siri's
to you.
like, shut up. Quit talking about Garmin. But this one's great because it, longer battery life, like 30 days of battery life.
Gotcha.
So it's just big. These are just 2 monster. I can barely move my arms in this podcast.
They look good on you though.
Yeah.
Freaking
I have
Hepler,
tiny
how about
wrists.
I don't think I have a lot to add to this conversation.
Did you ever use the Roam?
I didn't use the new Roam.
Use the Bolt,
I
right?
used the Bolt
The
V2.
Bolt is such a good device.
It is a great device.
Is that what you're going to stick with?
I've been toggling back. I've got both of them. I've got a Roam and a Bolt
You've been
V2
going back
sitting
and
on my
forth?
desk, and I've been going back and forth with both of them, just kind of playing with it. I wanted to get some user time with that,
Yep.
but here's the problem. I've ridden outside like 3 times in the last 2 months. So
that is
You just
definitely
haven't
the
used it.
problem.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that it has a climbing feature on it now.
Yeah.
That was huge. So that's fantastic.
the bigger screen just means I can have more metrics up, and me and my metrics.
Yeah,
I
that's
like
true.
to have
You love
all
that.
the things up there, and the mapping stuff. It's just a little bit easier to see that on the Roam. But the Bolt, that's in my opinion, that is the best computer on the market. That's just my 2 cents. That's the best computer on the market.
I think it's good. I love the ergonomics of the computer. I think I think Garmin's better when it comes to like, oh, I'm going to go mountain bike. Which computer am I going to grab? I think you should grab the Garmin. I think you've got better mapping. I think
You do.
Straight up, Garmin is better at mapping across all these different devices. Like it just is better.
Now, that's fine, and I might agree with you if I was like Lance Hepler, now a vagabond, just traveling the world, gypsy Lance Hepler over here,
But
like riding all
which-
these crazy trails, and like if he's needing something to show him where to go,
But 9 times out of 10, you know where you're going.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do. And even like the it's not like the Gar or the Wahoo's not going to know.
It recognizes trails. It just the Garmin has the names of the trails
Names
on
of
the map.
roads and trails and
And
everything.
roads and
is
trails
better
and-
detailed maps.
But yeah, so the map is just better
But
for the Garmin.
Trail Forks, though, to use it in its full capacity, don't you have to subscribe to that?
You do, but not.
So that's just another added feature that you're going to have to pay for.
But I actually don't use Trail Forks. I use Ride with GPS or
Oh.
I use MTB Project.
Okay.
Are those all free though?
They
For what you use them for?
MTB Project is.
Okay, is it good?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
good.
Is it good or is it great?
It's great.
Is it just okay?
That's how I find okay, I'm in an area. What are the top 5 rides in the area?
Oh, cool.
Here's the top 5 rides. How
Yeah.
long is that? How much climbing is in that? Can I handle that? Oh,
Yeah.
yes, there is. Oh, I can find that route.
And that's
go.
Connect IQ comes right over.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I also think that the climber feature, it's called Climb Pro.
Climb Pro,
But, yeah, I get all this.
That's still better, yeah.
And there are rumors that Garmin is going to have the route list, like you don't have to program in a route to get
Go on
like,
the way of
predictive-
Hammerhead.
Yes, exactly.
Karoo 2, yeah.
That's
be
the
cool.
rumors for upcoming Climb Pro feature, like for early next year.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I love the way that the Hammerhead Karoo does that automatically because guess what? I never program in a route.
No, hardly ever.
Never. Like if we're gonna go ride the flogging ride, like I have it like right on the computer. All I have to do is like switch around and press one button. I don't do it.
Yeah.
I just like, well, I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Just go down there and ride with those
I
guys.
will sometimes put that route in there, even though I've
Yeah.
done a route 100 times. I'll put it in there just so I can know how much longer I have to go on a climb. If I'm using that feature. So
Yeah. Whereas you would just automatically figure that stuff out
Yep.
for you, which is nice.
Yep.
If I leave the Northwest, I have a route.
You're routing.
I have a route.
So you're not using Strava to give you some recommended routes?
No, those are trash.
Hot garbage Strava.
So you found routing with the Bolt fine, no problem.
Yes.
Okay.
You have to you have to find a route. Usually I find them on Private GPS
Yep.
because
They have a lot of volume of routes.
yeah, you can find a decent route that somebody else has done, unlike the Strava heat map routes.
Yeah.
Unless I see somebody's route that I want to duplicate on Strava. But
Do you think that was just a miss by Strava? Do you think that they could have done better and they just like, wow, this heat map thing is cool, and then it's just, I don't know. I just don't
It's
feel
just
like
too
it.
many-
I don't think they nailed it.
there's too many variables with it. Yeah. So it's just
They're
it's
Strava.
not-
They could have
I-
done better.
yeah.
Stopped using it after I was
Yeah.
out on a gravel ride, and I should have brought an enduro bike instead. I mean, it's like, come on, really?
Or it takes you like down a highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I
You're like,
doing?
who's biking on this? Who chose to do this route?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know. The watch, the Epix 2, I think that's probably my most used and most favorite new thing for this year. I still really like that Garmin Varia radar.
I was
with
going to mention that one too.
The camera in it.
715.
It's not
Yeah.
perfect, but it's really good. If it was a little less bulky and the battery was just a little bit longer, that would be like primo.
Yeah, I agree.
I love having that though. And without that, I wouldn't have got or had the joy of watching Lance fall over on his bike.
That's right. My
Oh, boy.
broken ribs incident was recorded in 2 mile per hour.
Yeah, that product could be better.
Yeah.
But in it's like could be better. It's a pricey product. It's like but
$400 is pricey, yeah.
It
Yeah.
is like but it's been discounted. It's been $350 recently.
Yeah,
but
it'll
I
go
just
back
think,
here at the
yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like it's good. It could have been better, but dang, this is what we needed. We needed a camera on the radar. Like we've been waiting for this forever.
That was my point. There's somebody finally did it and incorporated those things, and they're just setting the bar. And with time, it will get better.
Yeah.
It has to, right?
And if you're not super price sensitive, like that's the thing to get. Like get it and go. I mean, like it's the only other negative is like it's kind of fat. It's like heavy.
Yeah, it's
whatever.
big.
So am I, but don't
Yeah,
worry.
exactly. More tush for the push, they say.
I still strap it on every single ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm on the gravel or if I'm on my road bike, it goes on my bike. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Anything else about 2022? Any closing thoughts?
See, I wouldn't want to be you.
I'm ready for a better year.
Hopefully, we'll have a better year.
So you had COVID? Yes.
I had COVID.
Lance had COVID.
Yep.
Ugly.
Evan Price had COVID.
Everyone's
Yeah.
had COVID.
No,
No,
COVID.
no
You've never had COVID.
No
Jake.
COVID.
You've yet to have COVID.
No COVID. COVID free
Since
since
2003.
74. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? That whole month in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
I never once put a mask on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just wasn't a
just
thing
random.
over there, which surprised me. There not in the city of Athens, there was a mandate for taxi drivers and bus drivers and tour guides. They had to wear masks, but the tourists didn't.
Well, I also think it's time of year too, right? I think like we have these spikes around Thanksgiving and Christmas or whatever. Like we're kind of probably in the thick of it or coming out of the end of it, maybe. Who knows? But if you can hunker down and kind of dodge some of those bullets, I think that's I don't know. What do I know? I'm not a health person. I'm not a
Well,
doctor.
I got what, 2 more days?
2 more days.
Good job. Way to dodge the bullet, man.
Cool.
That's good.
All right, let's do it. One last thing. What you got? Matt, you want to go first as usual?
Okay, I'm selling hats. They say swim, bike, run, rinse, repeat. Pick them up quick because I'm only selling a couple of them.
So these
I
are
only
really
have-
cool hats. They're kind of like the trucker snapback hats.
Yep.
But they're a bit more relaxed, so they look very comfortable. Then you've got a really nice leather patch on there that's got your swim, bike, run, rinse, repeat deal logo
like
on there.
Double logoing
Double
today.
logo.
I think that's illegal in some states.
I
think that, I'm selling them for $35, and I think they're fine. I don't know. Like some people are like, I wish it was more of like a running hat. We get different.
You can run in
opinions.
that just fine.
You could run in this.
Sally pants. If you can't run in that,
Salad pants. I mean, it's someone else was like, oh, I think it'll look better as it gets distressed a little bit. No, maybe that was you that mentioned that.
the leather part of it,
think it will.
leather always looks better as it gets
Yep.
distressed. So you should wear that in the rain a few times.
Yeah,
Sweat
well,
on it a few times.
There's enough rain around here.
Throw
We
it in
can
the
do
washing
that.
machine, whatever. But I think it looks great. It's a quality hat.
Yeah, so that's good. And I'll do some different stuff in the future as far as like merchandise stuff, you know, kind of probably around the swim, bike, run, rinse, repeat bit. Or maybe, who knows, maybe we'll do something different in the future. I don't know. But
Do you have anything that with the logo that you use for your YouTube channel?
No, because it's got like, I mean, I could. There's like an X thing that I could do, but like then there's my name around the top.
So?
Which you could eliminate the name. I don't want people like wearing it. I'm not a big
Maybe
like
put the swim, bike, run,
rinse, repeat around the top.
that
I
thing.
think that's at the bottom of that logo, but you could change it a little bit and it would work.
I like that logo a lot.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to think about it. Come up with something cool.
It's cool.
I'd probably just do the X and not then have my name on people's shirts. Hey, your name must be Matt. Nope.
No,
I'm wearing that shirt
I'm
though.
a Matt wannabe.
I'm wearing his shirt. But I think next video coming up for me is going to be I'm going to try and sneak out one more video this year before the big ball drops, and it's going to be gear I used most in 2022, which we kind of talked about on this podcast. So
That'd be good.
Yep.
I saved a dude's life yesterday.
What?
I had a tenant that was late on his rent, and I felt like I needed to go check on him. And I went and rung his doorbell and bang on the door, and he didn't answer. So I peeked through the window, and he was passed out on the floor in his kitchen.
What?
And he couldn't move. He's old, and he had fallen in his kitchen, and he couldn't get up.
Oh, I won't say it. Bite tongue now.
Right, is this like a life alert kind of?
Yeah, he was.
He needs to get a life alert, man.
He was half naked, and
That happens though. That's how people are.
yeah. So I was able to get into. I rushed home and got the keys and
Okay.
like got in, and I'm like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" And he's like, "Oh," he was very altered and was not right.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah, it was bad. So we called we called an ambulance. Ambulance came, checked him out, said, "Yeah, he needs to go to the hospital." So so
Oh,
luckily,
that's a bummer.
So luckily I went by. I didn't have to.
Did you get your rent money?
No.
Were you like digging around in his wallet while the ambulance
Digging
was
in the
loading
couch
him
for
up?
loose change? Yeah.
Do you guys know where his checkbook is? No.
How's it going with the restoration of the other?
They're moving along. The outside is done.
Okay.
I just got some text messages as we were recording that it looks like insulation has gone in.
Sweet.
So it's moving forward.
When's the housewarming party?
It'll probably still be another month or two, probably 2 more months before we can move back in.
Okay.
Move people back in.
Good.
So anyway, that's moving.
All right, my one last thing. I don't really usually like to talk about these things, but I had a colonoscopy last week.
Yeah.
All right. And
You lost 20 pounds.
I wish that was. Well, I actually, during the course of that thing, yes, you lose all the weight.
I sent Jake so many poop jokes.
Oh, I wish I was in on that thread.
That was so fun.
Anyway, I was instructed that I needed to go have one after having a physical. And I want to say this kind of as a PSA, like there was a little bit of a reason why the doctor wanted me to go have this. It was a little bit, and I didn't really talk about it outwardly, but I feel like it's probably necessary to do that. He's like, we need to have you go get a colonoscopy. One, it's, we've lowered the age and you're at that range and you should have already had one a year or two ago, whatever. And two, we've got some concerns that we want to get sorted out. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm just thinking back in my head, like, what is it? I've already had enough bad luck as it is over the last 4 years. So went in, had the colonoscopy. It was a crappy adventure, to say the least. And they removed a polyp from me. And it turns out that it was one that was not bad per se, but it was precancerous. That if I didn't get that it could have turned into be something that was much more problematic. And now I need to go in and have another one in 5 years as opposed to 10.
Oh, I was about to say you're gonna get one of those every year now, but every 5 years.
That's what they're recommending. So the moral of the story is don't take that stuff lightly.
Nope.
Don't think, not for nothing, all things considered, it wasn't a bad process.
Yeah.
Just having to drink that stuff kind of sucked.
Yep.
But that aside, it was a painless process. It was harmless, utterly harmless. Don't get like caught up on what they're actually doing. Because when you
go to sleep, you wake up.
Yeah. And just like nothing ever happened. Like if they didn't tell you what they did, you would have no idea.
Yeah.
You don't have, as a matter of fact,
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. When we were done, I went out to dinner with my wife.
Yeah.
It was like not a big deal. It was just that 24 to 48
prep.
hours prior to that, the stuff that you have to do. Yeah.
It's the prep.
And you get better results the better prep you do.
Yeah.
If you don't do the prep very well,
Yeah.
they can't see as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Lance, have you had one?
I have not.
Okay.
I'm 52 and I am overdue.
You
Go.
are overdue.
Matt, have you been down that road?
I have not been down that
I think
road.
the threshold is 45, I think, now, what they've lowered it to.
My
so
wife will be like, the day I turn 45, she will
she's
be
already
on
got you
it.
signed up. Happy birthday to you.
She's just like, medical. She's a doctor, and so she's just like everything by the book. And like, you're due for this, you're due for that. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. So
good
anyway,
times will be had at the
it's
LeGrand
not
house.
one of those things that I like to talk about, and it's just one of those things. It's like, is this TMI? No, I think at the end of the day, just go get it
this
done.
whole show is TMI.
Yeah, the whole show is. But I mean, these medical things that happen.
Yeah.
Get over it. Come on.
I'd rather have a colonoscopy every week for a month as opposed to the dentist crap that I had to deal with.
Yeah.
Why there's no love for the dentist? I don't understand. I completely understand.
That's tough. You're in a tough business.
I was in a tough business.
Yeah, you go in there and get beat up for all these hours, and then they're like,
then
it's like $2,300. I'm like,
Yeah.
son of a biscuit eater.
Yeah.
So anyway, don't take it
Hence
lightly.
retirement.
Go get it done. It's not a big deal. It's better to stay on top of
Those
your
vans
health.
don't pay for themselves.
Exactly. We would love to have all of you folks out there listening be around for a little bit longer.
Yes, we would.
Cool. All right. I think that is about it for this week. We will be back next week, new year, with a brand new Dial podcast. And until then, bye for now.